This is a very talented young man, top of the board kind of player from Bishop Alaman in Illinois, listed at 6'6", anywhere from 285 to 295. From a recruiting ranking standpoint, he is ranked as a 5-star by On3 Sports and the number 7 player in the country and the number 1 offensive tackle in the country. He's also ranked number 63 by 247 Sports, which for me is a little bit closer to where I have him right now just because of the technical aspects, which we'll get into. But from a ceiling standpoint, as we mentioned on Monday, he's a top 25 player for me. He's ranked 71 by ESPN. Rivals has him at 118. That's definitely too far down, in my opinion. He is a top 50 to 75 type player right now with 5-star upside, Ryan. So this is a very talented young football player.
Yeah, and I think he's a player where she's so talented in multiple areas from a power perspective and from that length athleticism perspective. Could be an offensive tackle, could be a guard. I think this kid's ceiling is so high because I think that he profiles so well to multiple positions. Like I think he could be whatever his body tells him he could be. Like he can be
also where I mean, the nice thing about guys like him, Ryan, too, is you can get there's 4 places I think he can play if there's an opening. Right. And that's the thing is like, okay, let's just say by 2024, he's ready to start. But Notre Dame's blessed that Blake Fisher and Joe Alt decide to come back. You know, like, well, guess we're going to have to wait another year to get Charles in the lineup. No, you slide him inside the guard and you let him play guard. And that's what Alabama did with Evan Neal. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he's like, hey, Evan Neal, number 1 pick. And I'm like, maybe. I mean, it's not a – there's several guys that could go number 1 because it's not that kind of elite top of the – I said, but look, the interesting thing about Evan Neal is the kid played left tackle for 1 year. He played guard, then he moved to right tackle, played right tackle in 2020, then moved to left tackle this year. And so you talk about that, like Alabama could move that. He played a different position every year because that was the position that would allow him to get on the field the fastest and allow them to figure out what their best 5-man rotation looked like. Having guys like that is huge when you can do that, and Charles is that kind of player.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And I mean, they even did it also with like Alex Leatherwood. I don't think he played guard, but he played right tackle, moved over to left. We've seen Notre Dame do it with guys like Mike McGlinchey and Ronnie Stanley in the past as well. So the ability to play multiple positions. Who
was the kid in 2012 that he played like center, guard, left tackle? He started for him in 2012. I'm trying to remember what the kid's name is, but he was a really good offensive lineman. Notre Dame tried to recruit him
for
Alabama that Alabama had.
Oh, Barrett Jones.
Barrett Jones. Yes, yeah. Barrett Jones. He was like that. He started at center at one point in time in his career, started at both, I believe, both tackle spots at one point in time, played a little bit of guard. It's great to have that. And like you said, Charles can be that kind of player. So let's dive into the film of Charles Jagusah here real quick, and we'll get rocking and rolling. We don't need to see us. We're going to get the whole thing out here. So let's dive into this film and really talk about him. You're going to see him at right tackle. We're going to let the first play go through, and then we'll go back and look at each play. You can see the length there, Ryan. One of the things I look for when it comes to length is I want to see a guy that when he's in his stance doesn't have to drive his shoulders into the ground. And obviously he doesn't do that. You see a really nice base. Now, this is the thing that I think sometimes can cause people to miss the boat a little bit on Charles. This right here, he gets beat outside. He's so strong and he's so powerful that he still beats this kid up, right? Yeah. I love that leg drive. I love that power, right? His length helps him recover. Against Isaiah Foskey, he's beat here. Isaiah's getting off that block and he's getting to the ball carrier. That's a technical thing. That's something he's going to have to work on. That's a footwork problem. But I like the quickness. I like how he keeps bending. This is talking about bending at the knees. That's what this is. Right? He's not lunging. He's not leaning. And I love that he keeps driving his feet through contact.
Yeah, and you would expect him to have good knee bend and that type of pad level because he's a wrestler, right? Like that's all they do is just stay in that crouch position, that power profile all the time. I agree, Brian. I mean, like you see it here, right? Like sometimes his feet stall on contact a little bit. That's a technical issue. In that reach block that you showed to begin with, it's just, his angle to where he's attacking on the defender just isn't great. But you see the ability to recover where that length. I mean, this kid is he's not missing any length, man, and he is a nasty dude. Like you see once he gets inside, there's a lot of natural power there.
Look at these hips. I want everybody to look at these hips on contact. You see him like this is the wrestling background. That's where you want to know why a wrestling background can help you. It's that right there. It's that exploding your hips through contact. When he down blocks, you see him move his feet better. It's like the lateral stuff, the pass blocking. That's when you see him tend to get into a little bit more of that, that stopping his feet and getting a little bit taller. He is a strong young man, though.
Sure is, man.
And he doesn't play like nasty, right? Like he's not dirty. You watch some game film and he's not like he's not playing, after the whistle, but he's physical, right? And you don't have to be dirty to be physical. He's a very physical kid. You see this again. This is a technical problem. Like this isn't great technique. He's holding, his hands are outside. I don't care about that. And neither does Harry Heastand, because that's what Harry Heastand will coach him to do better. But right. You see the size, the length.
Just a lot of natural power there, man. There's a lot of, you already talked about the hips a little bit. He's got a lot of power through those hips. You can just see him kind of roll through contact with that lower body.
That's a pretty good sized kid he's going against right there. And he just manhandles him. And I love look at the base, Ryan. This is why Ryan thinks he's a guard. Right. Am I wrong here? This is exactly the kind of play, because I want people to understand, like, and the reason I'm bringing this up, Ryan, is because some people think when you say a kid can play, is going to move to guard, it's like some kind of insult, like, well, he's not athletic enough to play. You've always said it's about his disposition.
Yes.
This is exactly what we're talking about. This play right here. This is him right here. It's not so much that he's not athletic enough to play tackle. It's that this right here, this is a guard play. Great pad level, right, Ryan? Physicality coming off the line and just mauling this guy.
Yeah, I mean, great point there, Brian. I would say I don't even want to call it an issue. My projection for Charles is better inside as of now, because like you said, I think he's got good foot quickness, no doubt. Got length. He can play offensive tackle when you're talking about the unteachables. What I like about him, though, is when he short sets, when he plays in a tighter space, I think he's just a dominant run blocker, and I think he's dominant when he gets his hands kind of on you very quickly. So, right. And you can play offensive tackle and be a little bit of a jump setter and short setter and do all those types of things. But I just think unlocking his power is big time for him, in my opinion.
This is where you see his athleticism on defense. Like, this is really impressive quickness off the ball. This is him playing nose tackle. And no, he is not going to play defensive line at Notre Dame.
Looks like Jerry Tillery, man. Looks like Jerry Tillery.
You shut your dirty mouth. We're not gonna have him move to defense. Big, strong kid. And this is just one game, too. We're going to get to another game here in a minute, but this is just one game highlight. I'm trying to show a couple of the game highlights for offensive linemen. See, again, you see some slowness with this transition. This isn't an athletic. This is what you have to identify, right? Whenever you see something on film that you don't like, you have to ask yourself, is that a physical problem or a technical problem? And the reason that matters, Ryan, because a physical problem is going to be harder to fix.
Yeah.
A technical problem is not, if you have a good coach, and Notre Dame has that now.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, let's be honest there. Like, it's a lazy set because he's just such a good athlete that he can redirect so easily. And that's why I think that the future may be inside, because just look at that power, man, in short, tight spaces. Like, I want to see him short set a ton, because I think it's just dominant.
That's a nice play here, again, as a nose tackle. Again, look at this quickness off the ball from here. He's the nose tackle here, folks. So I want to make sure I point this out. He's right there at nose.
Had a nice little swim there, too. A nice little swim. Yeah.
Yep. You see that. This is the thing. There's some of the more athletic things that I see are going to be on defense. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. On a high school team, it's a lot easier to just play with not the best technique on the defensive side of the football and make plays just because you're just such a good athlete, you know?
Right. Yep. We'll get to some more here. We got some more game film of Charles. Let's get to that. This first play is him on defense right here. So they're actually white in this uniform. I've always say this, kids put stuff on film that you're like, that's not a highlight. But what I do like about this play, though, the thing I do like here is, Ryan, is you see his ability to play with good pad level.
Yep.
And this is another clip that is kind of will tell you why, one of the reasons why you're going to say, Ryan, you're going to hear Ryan talk about him playing inside, because that's a must for an inside guy. You can get away with being a little bit long or tall, or not having a great pad level tackle. Can inside. Notre Dame's not recruiting the quarterback. That ain't good.
Nope.
Bad read. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
See, Brian, like even this set, man, it's just a slow say. He doesn't really get to a spot, but then, I mean, once he clamps on, he's able to use his length. It's over.
The thing, and that's the thing, that reason I brought up what I brought up too earlier, Ryan, is, and here is at right tackle, is you have to identify, is this a physical, is it a slow set because he's not quick? He doesn't have good lateral quickness, which is sometimes happens. There are guys that are really athletic in their vertical burst, but they don't have good lateral quickness. And that's something you have to identify and you have to answer. Here's at nose tackle again. Playing through. I mean, he's going against a small kid, so for him to get underneath this kid is pretty good.
Yep. Man, he's just a massive kid already, too, man. He's going to be a big boy.
He's a bull. I mean, it's a bully move right here. Here's a nose guard, right? He's going to be right about, come on, right about here. This is an impressive play. This is bullying people. And again, he's not going to college and playing nose tackle like that because of, Coleman earlier was asking about, level of competition. And my comment has always been about level of competition is more about the evaluator than the player. You're 6'6", no matter who you're playing against. You're a 4'4", no matter who you're playing against. You're 285, no matter who you're playing against. Those type of things.
I see somebody in the comments section, man. Like if he wants to play both sides of football, I would entertain it. Well,
that's what it takes to get him on campus. But he's not a guy that, he's not like Jerry Tillery was a more athletic defensive player, and Charles is not. So I just want to get to one more bit of game film here, and we will. There's a couple plays in this I really liked. This is a PAT field goal block that I really liked because he just gets off so quickly.
Yeah, it was definitely not an absence of athleticism here.
No. His footwork, his and this is what you're seeing too, Ryan, from what I talked about on Friday. This is one of the best plays. This is the film clip I wanted to get to, Ryan. This is one of his best clips. This is technically sound. This is textbook right here. He stays low. He drives through contact. He uses his hands well. His angle is. This is one of his better fundamental plays. And then, of course, it's just pure dominance.
Just look for everyone out there. Just look at those hips when he explodes on contact. When he makes contact with that defender, look at how fast his hips move, man. Like just very strong core there. Very strong lower half.
This is a little better pass set, Ryan, but this is an example of what I say is I don't think the kid knows how to pass it. They don't throw at all, as you can see why. This is why their quarterback just throws it up to whoever. Right? It's so bad. But this is why he's not a great pass blocker because they just don't do it. And you can understand why. But you see the foot quickness, again, the technique. What you're seeing in this film, what I was going to say earlier before that great play I got all excited about. But what you're seeing in this film is why I don't have him as a top 50 guy yet. Because the technical grade is very low for him right now. But it's also the grade that's least important to me, if we're being completely honest. It just doesn't matter a ton to me. But I still have to evaluate it because to get to the current grade, it doesn't factor into the upside grade. The upside grade is all about the intangibles. Not the intangibles, the unteachables that you like to say, which is a phrase I'd never heard of till I met you, and I really love it. It's a really, really good phrase. But that's what the upside grade is all about. It's the unteachables. So that is some game film of Charles Jagusah. I'm going to have to, hopefully I don't say that wrong. I want to get it right, so I'm going to try to really say it. But, Ryan, this is a big, strong, physical, talented kid. And it's easy to see why Notre Dame is so high on him.
I would love to see the weight room on him too, man, because his lower body is just so strong. I guarantee he's just a crazy power clean snatch guy. Like I guarantee he's just a freak because his hip explosiveness and power through the hips is fantastic. And again, that makes sense as a wrestler, right? Because you're playing with a low center of gravity, and you need to have those explosive hips to shoot and do all your moves and all type of stuff. So it makes complete sense. But Jagusah, sorry, I already did it. Jagusah.
It wasn't me.
I know. I've been saying it wrong for months too. So Charles Jagusah, again, upside is phenomenal because if he's doing what he's doing on film, and we both agree that the technique is not great, he's winning just based upon pure traits right now. So imagine, again, if he lands at Notre Dame, working with a coach like Harry Hiestand, I mean, upside, I mean, the ceiling is the roof in that situation.